Do you know what the difference is between used and pre-owned? I just learned it. The difference is pre-owned doesn't sound used, but it could be used, but you could think it may be new and it looks like new. That's marketing from France. Vestiaire Collective, one of these new fascinating startups which are going to, or which are already, but like BlaBlaCar came very early to us and went from year to year, became very, very big. We hope the same happens to your company because you certainly deserve it.
We hope the same. Hello, everybody. I'm very pleased, obviously, to be here to share our progress and excitement with Vestiaire, which I hope, indeed, will become one of the successful French tech companies. So Vestiaire started back in 2009 with a very simple insight. That insight was that there was a market for second-hand, high-end, and luxury products that needed disruption. What was the insight there? Obviously, consumption habits were changing very fast with the emergence of fast fashion. People were buying more and more clothes, but actually you cannot wear more and more clothes. So it meant that there were billions of euro worth of clothes sitting in people's closets, which obviously created an economical opportunity. The other reason why there was an opportunity was that the solutions offered at that time were not efficient. Neither offline, where it was a very unstructured market of second-hand stores with very small inventory and very small footprint, and online, the generalist platform didn't have a relevant experience for high-end products and didn't protect the users against counterfeit, which obviously is the #1 concern in the industry. It's with that simple idea that the Vestiaire Journey started. Sébastien Fabre, the guy with a beard and no hair, who is a serial entrepreneur in tech, partnered with 2 other tech entrepreneurs, Christian and Alex, and 3 luxury industry insiders and fashion insiders to kickstart Vestiaire back at that time. From day one, they had this very simple vision of the mission of Vestiaire, which was very focused on being the most inspiring pre-owned fashion marketplace. They had 4 ingredients in mind that are still true today. The first one was to say, if you want to get consumer traction, you have to focus on luxury and high-end, because that's what people crave for. I mean, people are really excited about bags, accessories, jewelry, a lot more than for lower-end products. So if you want to get social traction, it's a much more efficient place to be in. It's also where there was the most economical value to go after. The second ingredient was to say, we had to be true to the fashion DNA and really be looking for a very qualitative and curated experience that you would get in a magazine or in a luxury store, which is all the selection and style components that Vestiaire is trying to implement. The third ingredient was to say, okay, this is a very social territory. How do we make sure we harness all the social connections behind fashion and luxury, which happens both on the platform, where we have a lot of community features, and outside of the platforms through partnerships with bloggers and influencers. And then the third pillar was to say this was a global opportunity and that the platform needed to be built from day one to be a global one. Operationally, that translates into 3 pillars. I talked about the focus on high-end. It means we focus our supply effort to make sure we understand which brands sell and don't sell, what are the prices, what is the resale value of the different brands. That yields a very high average basket, which is good news for us, which is in the range of 400 €, which obviously enables us to have sustainable economics. It also means there's a lot of social interactions on the platform. Typically, we have about 10 social interactions for every single luxury product we sell on the platform, so we do make it work. The second operational pillar is where the model is unique, and it actually re-injects friction in a C2C platform. Not every single product that you are going to submit on the platform is going to go through. We curate 100% of the product that are submitted, and there's about 30% of the product that we consciously decide not to take into our catalog, because we want the catalog to be the most qualitative and the most inspiring catalog in the world for pre-owned fashion. The second part of that unique model is that we believe that for luxury and high-end products, you do need to physically control that the product that has been presented online is the real product that the buyer will get. So every single product that is being sold on the platform actually goes through our logistical hub in Paris, where our team of about 40 people actually control and authenticate for luxury brands the fact that it's a real one, and it's like a guarantee we offer to the buyer of the product. And I already talked about inspiration and fashion, so I'm not going to go there again. But we do produce our own content. We work with photographers, professional photographers and models to ensure that what we show and feature on the site is up to the standards of the luxury industry. How does it come together for consumer? Well, we're a C2C platform, so people typically take a picture of their product and they write a short description, they submit it. That's where the curation happens. So our team of about 25 stylists checks whether or not we have a historical data that convinces us that we can sell the product. They also check the quality of the pictures and the description, and potentially they challenge the pricing to make sure that the product has a chance to sell. Then there's interaction on the platform, transaction happens, and as I said, the seller doesn't send directly the product to the buyer, but it comes in our office. We physically check it. We actually also repackage it, because you don't want to receive a Louboutin pair of shoes in an Adidas box. So we are trying there to also respect the codes of the industry. The good news for us is that it looks like we are on path to success after 7 years, and that we have started proving the model. We have already sold about 900,000 products, high-end and luxury products on the platform. We receive about 4,000 new submissions a day, and obviously our catalog can grow as rapidly as needed, because we don't carry the product in store and in stock until they have been sold. Our community is now about 5 million people in the world. It's growing about 100,000 people a month, and we are selling in about 50 markets and accepting sellers from about 20 markets. So it has really become a global community. We have successfully transitioned to mobile. We do about 70% of our traffic on mobile and 50% of sales. And we are the #1 European platform with a GMV of about 78 million euro last year, growing 70% year on year for the past 4 years now. The good news of this European success is that not only are we #1 in the top markets, but we are proving that the liquidity that we bring to the market by a global marketplace actually works. So today we have about 60% of our revenue outside of France. So we're really an international company, not just French anymore. And the transactions are 70% cross-border, so a seller in a market and a buyer in another one, which proves that on the segment we're working on, the demand and the supply may be in different markets, and we actually enable that demand and that supply to meet in an efficient way. I couldn't be at NOAH without talking about the great partnership we've had with investors all along. So the company has did 5 rounds of funding for a total 57 million euro. And I think what was well built all along was joining with industry experts or funds that were bringing something new and some know-how, either about sort of how to get global or in the industry, like we did with Eurazeo for the last round, which obviously was a fashion and luxury expert, because those guys were the lead investors in Moncler and Desigual recently. We also have the pleasure of having Conde Nast in our capital, which for us was the ultimate sign that we did respect the codes of the luxury and fashion industry. What's next for us? Well, we're trying to stay true to our original mission. So now that we see light at the end of the tunnel in Europe, we say, what is the next region we can go after? And obviously the second largest region for luxury and the second center of inspiration for the world is the US. So we have started a US effort last year, which actually is showing very promising results and the same sort of traction and metrics that what we experience in Europe. So we're extremely confident that we can move from a cross-border model to a cross-continental model, which obviously we expect long-term to also export to Asia, but that's a bit premature to talk about today. So I guess it will be one of our next discussion in NOAH or elsewhere. Obviously, we will only continue to win if we continue to innovate. We innovate functionally. We have a completely proprietary platform, and we're working hard on the functionalities to make sure that it's as easy as possible to deposit product and to transact, which obviously is a constant challenge. We're also trying to continue to innovate on editorial and on the way we feature products on the site, and there's a lot of innovation and challenges coming up with mobile. And then we're trying to continue to expand our footprint in terms of categories, and we've recently launched a men category. We are working on expanding our watches business and our vintage business. To wrap up, we're in a pretty exciting space. We think we're making fast progress. We still have a lot of work to do, but we think we're in a position to build the global leader we aspire to be. And the good news is we're also having a lot of fun. Thank you for your attention.
Okay.